Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. I'm here with Jay Williams. He's a former pop star and one of the first people to have an internet video show in the UK. Jay, how you doing? And say hi to the people, please.
Hello, people. I'm doing fine. Yeah. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Yeah. But first of all, for those that don't know, both myself and Jay are Trekkies. So I'm giving Jay the formal Trekkie greeting. And
Oh,
for years, we've
Joanne,
been having an argument about who is the best captain. But I want to ask you, viewers, a question. We're going to get into that later on in the show, along with what Junior does. But viewers, who would you want in a bar fight? Who would you want in your corner? Jean-Luc Picard or Captain James T. Kirk? So
let
we're
me
going
just
to
say
get into
something.
that. But James, go on,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Kirk was, when he fought the Gorn, he was like anything. He was like just any kind. It was almost like Fight Club. No discipline, no nothing. It was just a straight up fight. That's all he ever did. Picard, 80 years later, has Klingon training and Starfleet combat training. He could do a Vulcan neck pinch. Listen, at the end of the day, if it came down to it,
I can't recall Picard ever being in a fight.
They're two different captains. They're two different captains, two different styles. And I'd have either one of them in my corner. But in a bar fight, no. This man took on what I forget what that race was called. And he got stabbed in the heart. He took on two of them. Norse, I think they're called, or whatever they're called. Anyway,
Yeah, that's the same. If that was Kirk, he'd have rushed them. Okay, we'll talk about that later. First of all, Caribbean food. And Jay, I want to ask you, what is your favorite Caribbean dish?
I don't have a favorite. I have favorites, I suppose. Um, uh, Typical curry goat rice, whether it be plain rice or rice and peas. The rice has to be soaking in juice. I like myself a bit of jerk with some ketchup and some hardo bread and butter and a nice pint of Vimto. Curried prawns. I was recently introduced to curried prawns.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I suppose that's. I'm not too much of a fish person, so the curried prawns is an exception. But for the most part, when I look at a menu, I'm not choosing the fish. I'll most probably choose anything else. One, because my dad had a bad experience with fish choking on a bone, and two, it's too much hassle. You get into it and you chew and the flavors there and you've got to pick out the bone and it interrupts the pleasantness. Whereas with a piece of meat, you could and it's all there and there's no interruption. So yeah, I'd sooner choose a meat or veg dish rather than a fish. But yeah, that's my take. I mean, growing up in a Trini household, parents and stepbrothers and sisters were first generation Windrush. So yeah, I pretty much had fried bake for breakfast and whatever else, all the trimmings. But and the whole experience. So I grew up in a Caribbean household, so it's not too much of a novelty for me to order, to eat Caribbean food, so it's really occasional.
Right.
But that's yeah.
Okay. Well, normally when a guest says that they haven't got a favorite, but they give me a list, I normally pick their first one. So I believe that was curry goat. Is that curry goat? Would that be like roti or with rice or
Either, I
anything?
don't care. It's
Right.
curry goat. That's the main thing. Anything else is condiment, is peripheral. The heart of that dish for me. I could eat a plain plate of curry goat. I will be the one at the end of the wedding reception to go to the kitchen and say, give me the rest of the curry goat in the bottom. But no more rice, no problem. Just give me a plate of the curry goat. The bottom of the pot, I don't care because it's curry goat. So everything else, roti, potato, rice, peripheral, expendable.
And where would you go to get your curry goat from?
Before, I'd have to go to local Caribbean restaurants, takeaways, like Peppers and Spice, Brown Eagle.
Which one? The one in Bruce Grove
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Dawson? Oh,
Bruce Grove. Yeah, I haven't been to the one in Dalston. You got Brown Eagle, which is a new one that's in Tottenham as well.
whereabouts
Um,
in Tottenham?
on the high road,
Sure.
near it's near the stadium on the left-hand side. I'm not sure of the completed. Hold on a second.
Can I ask which stadium?
No, because I'll just be endorsing your team. Even though I'm not into football, I've got to remain neutral. Yeah.
So, on the same side as the stadium.
No, I think it's the other side.
Okay, so like if you're coming from Bruce Grove, is it before the stadium or after the stadium?
It is after the stadium.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then the one that I used to work in Stoke Newington, and so I used to frequent Juniors, which is on Neville Road.
Neville
In
Road,
Stoke.
I remember that name, but I can't place it. I
It's
remember that
just
road.
just off of Albion, like behind Albion Road.
Is that where the bus used to go?
Yeah, the 73 goes down Albion Road. If you take one of the lefts, it will lead you onto Neville Road.
Right, okay.
It runs adjacent to Stoke Newington Church Street. So
Right.
yeah, Juniors. Juniors is for me. I like going there because it was just authentic. It was a time warp. You had all the different currency notes in the back behind the till. No gloves, no blue gloves. Just handling the pots. You see them handling. You got a clear view of the kitchen. It was just, and then obviously all the celebs that have been there, all the photographs that have been signed and stuff. It was nice and authentic. Whereas you've got there was a restaurant in Stoke Newington, I forgot what it's called, but it was very clean, very sterile. Um, you have a restaurant in Walthamstow, called Turtle Bay. That's quite popular. I went there and ate once. Um, Kind of had a bit of kind of corny decor, fake palm trees, different color lighting and stuff. It was nice, but it wasn't authentic. It was more touristy. If you were to open a Caribbean restaurant in a tourist area in the Caribbean, that's how you decorate it probably. But yeah, and the portions were almost a la carte portions. I'm talking the roti was no more than that big. So it's
Like
not. It's
like a
just
double.
not even as big as doubles, to be honest. Because I had doubles the other day. I had those doubles in Stratford. I had doubles the other day, and they weren't even as big as doubles. They were slightly smaller. So you can't tear it in half to fill it to put in your mouth because you haven't got enough to fill. You've got to do the whole thing. Or, as I did, I just got tired of it. Had to use my knife and fork, cut the thing, and then load on the curry onto the fork. you know. So anyway, yeah, that's sorry, that's um, that's my preference. I think juniors for authenticity, but also brown eagle and peppers and spice.
Okay.
And to be honest, I haven't, like I said, I haven't eaten in that many from that many Caribbean takeaway restaurants because, like I said, it's it's just a now and again thing with me because it's like uh, calypso and cricket. Yeah, I like calypso and cricket, but because I've been brought up with it all my life, you know, for the last 40 odd years, I can also do with some beans on toast or something, you know. So yeah, so I'm probably not the best authority
Right.
on Caribbean.
So when you're out and about, um, even if you're out of London and you're hungry
Mhm,
and you're looking for something to eat, what's your
mhm.
first thought? Is it international food or is it Caribbean food?
It depends where I am. It really is. If I'm in the West End, then you're just going to be surrounded by burgers, chips, falafel, all that stuff. You're going to choose what's there. I would prefer doubles or curry goat or anything West Indian every time, even against a McDonald's and a KFC, because it's proper food, yeah. But 9 times out of 10, this is London. You're not near a Caribbean restaurant, and you choose what's available in the surroundings at the time.
You're funny you saying KFC. I was thinking about KFC. I'm not a big KFC fan at all. But I remember back in the day, KFC used to do these barbecue lamb ribs. And I
Yeah,
must admit, I was
yeah,
a massive fan.
yeah,
I was kind of hooked. I used to love them. And then they phased them out. And
yeah.
then some of the imitation smaller
That's right. Yeah,
strips,
it's
yeah,
more.
they used to take them up. And some of them used to be good. But others, there was no standards
Yeah,
on some of the others, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the one KFC thing. But I've never seen it outside England at all. But talking about outside England, have you been to like the Caribbean before? Any parts?
I was in Trinidad for 3 months, or 2.5 months in 2000. Spent 2 weeks in Jamaica and one day in Union Island, uh, and a week in St. Vincent.
Cool. Did you try any Caribbean food while you was over here from shops?
Yeah, pretty much every day. So I was here for.
Right.
I was hanging out with friends and we'd go boating. We bought a motor for the dinghy. We'd go fishing by 5 islands. We caught snapper, night fishing. We'd always end up, well, not always, but we'd pass this place that did 2 places. One that did $5 burgers, which were the absolute lick, and then there was this local place on Saddle Road that did this kind of barbecue, sweet kind of chicken that was just, again, I came back fat. So yeah,
Yeah.
uh, one thing that I want to try again is shark and bake.
All right.
I think we were Chaguaranas, or I can't remember, but yeah, we were by the beach. They were doing shark and bake, and it was tender and soft. And like I said, I'm not a fish man, but I will take shark and bake every time. And like I was told as well, best when they're young, tender.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to encourage people to try any other fish with the bait apart from shark because it's such an endangered species. It's so good for
Yeah,
uh, our coastal waters and things.
yeah.
But
And to be honest, it's one of my favourite animals as well. To be honest,
yeah,
I love
yeah,
sharks. The
yeah,
lines, they're just perfect, perfect killing machines. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So what is your favorite international dish?
Again, I haven't got a favorite. International dish.
You can ask someone from the.
I don't have one. It will be, I mean, everything else that I've tried has been the fast food street version of international food. Kebabs, meze, falafel, you know? It's
But you
all,
say kebabs. I used to love a kebab, especially after a night out. You know, they've got a thing over here called gyro, which isn't really the same sort of thing. The kebab was special because of that ingenious pita bread, where it was like a pocket that you know you put the meat in and then your veggies and stuff and that uh, kebab sauce. Man, there's a couple of things over in England that I do miss, like baklava. Again, after a night out, some baklava. I used to love that kind of thing, man. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about
I haven't had that much in authentic dishes, international dishes. Um, it's just like I said, it's just been more the fast food, the quick stuff. Even when I went abroad, I've been to Greece, and I've been to certain parts of Europe and stuff, but the food is pretty much the same. I like a Greek salad. I found out that I like a really basic um, lettuce, tomato, feta cheese, salt, and vinegar. Because I'm not a salad man either, but I will eat a Greek salad.
yeah.
Um, but then with that, it's a list of meat dishes or veg dishes, which is just variation on a theme. So it doesn't really matter what you choose. The most choice that in menu, most diversity in menu that I've found is either Indian or Chinese. Um, at least you've got the variety there and you can mix and match, yeah, with your dishes. But things like when you go to like Turkish restaurant, it's pretty much just all meat, you know. You go to you know what I want to try. You know what they don't have over here that I want to try is soul food. They may have one or two restaurants,
Oh,
but this, I grew up listening to rap and they're always talking about grits and gravy and all this kind of
right,
stuff.
right.
I have no idea what the fuck they are. I don't even Google it. But I want to try it because, try a thing. But yeah, that's something I'd like to try. When we got to international. Stratford, they've got the food hall in Stratford.
The what? Sorry.
Stratford's Westfield Shopping City Centre. They have a massive food hall with, you name the food outlet, they've got it. Yeah, even that's where I went and had the doubles. I forget what the restaurant is called. I forget what, because I would have made a mental note if I'd have known that I've been doing this. But yeah, they've got all sorts of dishes. If you want to go international, I'd take you to Westfield, and they've got sushi, all sorts, everything. Sushi, not a fish man. My son is. My son is a sushi freak.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll try it. It's very.
Cold.
No, it does have a strong taste with the soy sauce. And it's mainly the soy sauce that kind of brings out the taste. And it's not too fishy. But again, it's cold fish. And there's something that doesn't sit right with my palate with that. So yeah, given the choice, sushi would be probably second from last or last on the list. Although it's still nice. It's not.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose more of a delicacy. I suppose a treat once in a while. If it's hot because it's cold. That's what I can't. get ready to have a meal and it being cold. Ugh, you know.
It's kind of, yeah, because you'll want something hot. Korean noodles. I've been eating a lot of Korean noodles. Spicy and hot, and it's great for clearing your nose. We think we have some hot stuff. Well, Koreans have. Yeah, I don't know if they have the equivalent, but they like their hot stuff too. And these noodles that I buy, they're fiery, and I think that's what I like. They're tasty as well, and it's like it's typical Korean or Chinese Asian uh, dish where the noodles are swimming in the juice. You don't drain it or anything because the juice is part of it. So yeah, when you finish the noodles and you drink down the juice, you sound like Popeye. But yeah, I like that. I haven't tried anything else Korean, to be honest. Bubble tea is probably the furthest I've gone with anything else that's related to Korea.
What would you say is the national dish of the UK?
Hold on a sec. Can I just finish off? I don't believe that I forgot this. I can't believe that I forgot. I knew there was something on the tip of my tongue with international. When you said my favorite international dish, all right, hands down, beef jollof rice with mixed meat.
Yeah.
Jollof rice. I would do time if anyone messed with my plate of jollof rice. Yeah.
Jollof rice is like an orangey color, yeah? Right. Yeah.
Orange kryptonite.
Yeah, I've had that before. It's quite enjoyable. So you could just have the jollof rice on its own. It's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that is just the rice that's just flavored. There's nothing else but the rice and the flavoring.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an extremely nice.
Yeah, similar to the pilau. Yeah.
Yeah, but a pilau, there's peas in there and things, you know.
Yeah,
but with the jollof rice, what I noticed it was just rice and the flavoring.
Sometimes they do put veg in there. I've had jollof with veg, but yeah, it's yeah.
All right.
Jollof.
Well, glad we got that one.
With a side order of mixed meat as well, chicken and beef.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your? Sorry, 1 second. What do you think is the national dish of the UK or England?
Bangers and mash, fry up. Those things are cultural. Right. Pie and mash, jelly deals. You know.
Have you ever had that?
I have, yeah. Yeah. Again,
what is that like?
Just slimy, a little bit tasteless. Yeah.
Is it cold? Is it cold as well? Like cold?
Yeah, cold again. Yeah.
That's now that I'll try sushi. But now that I know that's cold.
Oysters as well. Oysters I've tried as well.
No, but oysters we have, but like the oysters over here, there's fire. There's fire in them, man. It's like a drink, you know. But yeah, jelly deals. That's always stumped me.
Well,
so
one thing that you said my favorite international dish. No, well, my least, the one that I'd probably try it if I was in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, only because to earn the stars. But frog's legs, Eddie, you know Eddie. Eddie got a job. Fuck knows how, but sorry, but yeah, in a restaurant in the West End in Leicester Square, and on the opening night, the staff would invite people down to have a free meal, whatever's on the menu, and we ordered some stuff. And one of the things I wanted to try, because I'm a man that would try stuff, is frog's legs. But
well, you actually wanted to, yeah?
Yeah, But when it
Only
came,
under extreme duress, maybe.
it looked like a small human leg. It had the thigh, the calf, everything. You could see all the muscles. And it just felt, it looked too much like, when you're eating all sorts of meat, you don't eat, it's not like you're eating the leg itself. They've cut the leg up, they've taken the meat off. It doesn't look like a leg. But this frog's leg looks like a miniature human leg. And also what was going through my mind was there was a scientist that used electricity to twitch muscles in animals, 18th century, something like that.
Yeah, they used to do that in school, didn't it?
Oh, there you go as well.
Yeah.
And that was going through my head. No, it just felt too much like cannibalism. It reminded me, and I had another experience like that when my stepsister gave me some, I don't know what you call it. It's a Trini dish, but it's like curried chicken feet.
All right.
Chicken feet. She gave me a container full of chicken feet that she cooked. But I lived on with a balcony, and I used to feed the pigeons, and so they would come on the balcony at all times, and I couldn't. I wanted to eat this thing. I'm trying to eat, but I'm looking at their legs, and it's the same, and I can't eat. So yeah, nummy, chicken legs and frog's legs.
Yeah.
No.
I've been here 15 years, and I haven't eaten anything below the knee yet. Like all my
Right.
cow heel, and
Good. Yeah.
I haven't really ventured there.
Yeah.
But I have to soon, I suppose. I've got a food podcast, so yeah, I've got a few things like conch or conch. That's basically snails.
Yeah.
And you know, like in England, we kind of like, look down on the French for eating snails when I was a kid. It's what, you lot eat snails and you eat frog's legs. So I have to bring myself around to it one day. Yeah. Okay. But what would you say is a national dish of Trinidad and Tobago?
I don't think anyone else does doubles, do they? Because of shadow belly. But then I think you can get the equivalent of shadow belly or shadow belly itself. I think the Spanish and Latin people call it culantro.
Right.
I think it's similar or the same, but no, I think like the steel drum doubles is native to Trini. I think the chana and everything. It's pretty typical for it's got typical Trini ingredients. No, yeah.
Okay. So what is your favorite book?
Favorite book? Trail of the Octopus. It was banned in America. It detailed the build-up and the mechanisms behind the Lockerbie disaster in '88, and it was written by two of the former agents that were involved in the entire thing, and it gave you a whole new perspective. And then to watch the news and to see the propaganda churned out was eye-opening. I think that's what made me realise that not everything we see and hear is the truth. So that was quite influential on me, that book. It was insightful, and I just did it out of curiosity. At the time, it was the early to mid-90s, so I'd just been introduced to Islam, black Islam, so I was really ethnic and want to know and to see what the real world was about and stuff. And they had Trail of the Octopus there, and I just read the back, I think, and took it as a part of a collection of a few books that I had from there. But yeah, I think that was one of my. I'm not a guy to really have favourites. For me, like each dish each captain, each book is a different experience for me. But it's a different perspective, but it's still a pleasurable experience. Yeah. So it's hard to compare. It's like saying comparing apples and oranges. Well, I can't because I like them both, but they are fruit. It's entertainment. It's food. It's so yeah. I haven't got favorite books, but one of them is Trail of the Octopus. I haven't read in a while, so I'm trying to recall. I had a load of books, and I had to get rid of them when I moved here, which really hurts. But I'll leave it at that for now. Trail of the Octopus.
Okay. Well, going on to another faith. Favorite film?
I like all sorts of film, study film, because of you. Um, and so difficult, again, I don't have a favorite film because there are so many different genres. Um, I can watch from Endgame to Philomena. I draw the line at shit like Fried Green Tomatoes or Birdman. I think they're all that's a little bit pretentious, some arty-farty stuff. But I watched a brilliant film the other day. Patty Cakes. Patty Cakes is about a very typical Midwestern teenage girl, a little bit on the heavy side, a mum too, not very rich, quite poor, but she's got rhyming skills, and it's just her journey and the relationship with her mum. It's just a load of facets that I thought, yeah, I properly enjoyed that film. Yeah. I haven't got a favorite film. It's easier for me to tell you films that I'm not favorable to, and that's like I said, the things like Birdman. I really couldn't get into, or um, I'm not too much of a fan of the comedies now because they're all safe and politically correct. Even before, you had things like Scream and American Pie, which to me was kind of a bit playground humor. And I guess, yeah, you had to have been a teenager to appreciate those films, sort of thing, in the 90s. I wasn't a teenager then. But I did like movies before, like the Airplane movies and Naked Gun, the slapstick police squad kind of humor.
The king of that was I don't know whether it's called slapstick or what was Pink Panther. Peter Sellers, the original Pink Panther. I used to love those sort of that sort of comedy.
Yeah, that and just the off the cuff, a gag a minute, Airplane kind of, and borderline as well, some borderline comedy because, yeah, I'll say it. I can't put a restriction on comedy. It's all about perspective. You laugh if you find something funny. Someone in the world will take offence, even though none was given, and that's not the point of comedy. Comedy is to let you look at something from another perspective, a funny perspective, a ridiculous perspective, so ridiculous that it's laughable. But today,
the world's changed. The world has changed a lot.
Yeah, and it's not just effective. There's a lot of when I go on Netflix and wherever else. Hollywood's not ruling the roost, really. You've got a lot of international films that are just as good, as on some, and even better in some instances than what Hollywood's churning. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Quite good film, a little bit messy, and Hollywood corny. 200 million or something to make. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Michelle Yeoh's new film. It's the same multiverse kind of
Concept.
subject, but it's used in a totally different way. The effects are just as good, in all honesty, and it cost something like 25-30 million to make. So in order to, it's hard in this kind of climate to choose a favorite film. It was easier back then when you didn't have so much to choose from. When people produced stuff, it was produced with some quality in mind and not just thinking of the paycheck. Yeah,
Churn it out. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I haven't got a favorite film.
Okay. Well, let me ask you your favorite food show then.
My favorite food show. um, I guess it's everyone's over here. Everyone just watches MasterChef.
Okay.
I've watched MasterChef now and again, mainly because the person I'm with is, or I'm around there watching MasterChef. When I do watch it, it's interesting because, yeah, I like to cook a little. I don't cook much, but it's good to see what, the effort it takes to make that creation that they've just done. I don't watch food shows in general. So again, I'm not the one to really ask my favourite food show. I haven't got one. No.
Nothing. When it comes to pepper, is it none, slight, medium, or pepper?
Now that depends. You introduced me to bagel, cheese, and pepper sauce, and that's the link. I like pepper, like I said, like the Korean soup. I like kicks. I like pepper. I like a hot curry, a pepper pot. I like hot stuff, but not all the time. I used to hate it when I was younger. I didn't see the sense, and because I grew up with Trinis, they had pepper in the flipping tea. Scotch bonnet everywhere. It was like, what the? It's, green and red peppers and everything. So I hated pepper when I was younger, but as an adult, as your palate changes, I could take. I guess it's similar to my alcohol intake. I used to like beer. Now I like spirits because it has a kick. I like food, plain food, but I can also eat really hot kick food. I'm not one of these fanatics that needs to struggle to a point where it's Chinese endurance test to see who can withstand the hottest and all that. That just takes away. That's a sport. I'm just here to eat, and pass me a tissue if I need to wipe my brow a little, or maybe blow my nose, but hand me that water and let me carry on. I eat. Yeah, I like a kick. Not ridiculously hot, but yeah.
Where do you keep it, in the fridge or the cupboard?
Keep what?
Pepper sauce.
In cupboard. Yeah. Why am I supposed to keep it in the fridge?
No, just curiosity.
Okay.
Some people keep it in the fridge, some people keep it in the cupboard, and it seems fairly even split.
Maybe is it because I got the bottled one and they've probably got like all sorts of preservative and all kind of shit E numbers in there. Maybe because some people make their own pepper sauce and it doesn't have a preservative, you may need to put that in the fridge, especially with a Trini climate. But I'm just guessing.
Okay. When it comes to pale ale, dry or sappy?
Sappy? No, nothing dry. No, never. Not dry. Not dry. No.
Okay.
The only time I would have Dry rice. I like dry, sticky, salty rice. But for the most part, no. And especially with the pilau, no. I mean, you're gonna have the juice from the meat and everything in there and stuff anyway. So if it come out dry, you get something else.
Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Take it or leave it either way. I know it's sacrilegious, um, but I'm a saint and a sinner. I'll eat it with or without.
Okay. So if you won the lottery tomorrow and you could choose any Caribbean country to go to apart from Trinidad and Tobago, where would you choose?
Um, I'm born and bred over here. I spent, like I said, I did a bit of island hopping in 2000. The West Indies is each island has its own difference, history and stuff, but it's still a variation on a theme. For me to choose where to live in the West Indies,
No, 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 not
where
just
I roll the dice.
no, no. You won the lotto and you're going on a holiday. They said just
Oh,
pick an island.
just on a holiday.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, right. I thought you meant to live, like to immigrate and stuff. Right. Oh, cool. No, well, if I won the lottery, I'd island hop. But if there was only one holiday, like if I won 3-2-1 instead of Dustin being I won a Caribbean holiday, it would probably be everyone's going on about Saint Lucia, Antigua, Windward, or is it Linwood Islands or whatever? Leeward Islands, Leeway Islands or whatever. Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. I think because everyone goes on. I've been to Barbados, been to St Vincent, obviously Trinity, and Jamaica. So it's not much. Maybe Cuba. Cuba would be in there too. Cuba and Haiti,
All right.
because they're furthest away from the typical West Indian culture. That's all I know. So yeah, I would probably favour Cuba or Haiti. Yeah.
If you're eating something like a oxtail or a roti or something like that, are you a messy eater?
No, no. Um, I can eat. I don't like to eat messy. I've always got a tissue, and I'm always wiping my mouth after each because you never know. I don't like it. Yeah, and but I can eat with my hands. I've knelt down and eaten with my hands rice and stuff. I know how to eat without cutlery, but still give me a tissue at the side. I need some tissue at the side and drink as well. I always want. If I don't have to eat with my hands, I'll eat with a knife and fork, unless it's a plate of like jollof rice or um, I like Jamaican corned beef and fried rice. I can eat a plate of that too with mixed veg. I will eat that with a spoon. For the most part, I'm with knife and fork. But if I have to eat with my hands, I'll eat with my hands as well. But no, I'm not a messy eater at all. I don't. I went to school in the 70s and 80s with those boys that in the canteen, and they'll be talking and shoving the chips and beans in the mouth, and the chip would be covered with bean sauce, and it would catch on the side, and they'll still be talking, and over that, and all you can do is concentrate on that thing there, and you miss what they're saying. Maybe that's some psychological Freudian shit as to why I've always got a tissue. One, not a messy eater.
So when it comes to pets, are you licky face or no licky face?
Um, no licky face, to be honest, but um, I get so close to the dogs. I love dogs. I love cats. I love animals. That when I pet them, obviously they're gonna run, and so you put, and I hate that.
Right.
And I know that they carry a worm as well. Plus, you're not gonna kiss me with something that you wipe your ass with, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just not the done thing. Like I said, I'm not a messy eater, so I'm not going to put up with that shit. So no, don't like and when I see people, kissing their dogs like that, I mean, it's it's great and affectionate, but it's also risky. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, so no, not me. You're specifically talking dogs, right?
Pets in general, so it'd be dogs
So,
and cats, I suppose.
yeah, because
Um,
I've never been licked by a goldfish, but I think with dogs and cats. Although I had a cat that liked to lick my back. You know, sometimes I sit on the side of the bed and get a ting, and obviously no shit. I've just woken up or whatever. I'm drinking my coffee, and then all of a sudden this cat would come and just lick my back. It was crazy, but yeah, cat was Kaiser. Um,
favorite favorite drink.
favorite drink? What, soft or hard?
So,
Water. I take
okay.
water every day, every time. Everything else, like a condiment, is. I mean, I'm more conscious now. I don't like fizzy drinks. I don't like drinks that are too sugary. Um, uh,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
might have the occasional ginger beer. Can't finish a can. I'll have a little bit of whatever car, the KA range. Um, Peer drags. I know you guys still have peer drags. I like peer drags.
I never have.
Um,
I don't look for it.
I like peer drag. They've got
Okay.
this IKEA version, and there's some different varieties of peer themed drinks. So I like peer, but again, like I said,
Water. Okay.
water every time at the top.
So, favorite alcoholic drink.
Whiskey, Scottish. The lighter, the better. No dark whiskey, no bourbon, no sickly, no Southern Comfort medicine stuff.
Is, is
Um,
that is that straight on the rocks or with a
no,
mixer?
no, straight room temperature, um, no ice. Uh,
Okay. So
Scottish or Irish.
you
But
don't keep your whiskey in the freezer
no, God no,
then?
no, no. You don't put whiskey or brandy. Even
Got you.
brandy, you sometimes you can heat it up as well. That's the proper way to have this shit. But no, having alcohol and dunking ice and all that kind of shit, it makes sense in that climate and it's cultural. Just like dunking milk in tea, but it is just as sacrilegious as putting pizza and pineapple on a pizza. In China, don't dunk cow's milk into it, and no, it's just not the damn thing.
Okay. Favorite fruit.
Um, I stopped eating fruit. I have to tell this story because it will only make sense for when I end it. It was about 9 or 10, and I was coming out of, we lived in Sisbury Road. I was sucking on the mango. I got it right down to the seed. Yeah. I come outside, and then the sun is shining. It's an afternoon, probably about 4 o'clock, and they're playing football in the street. And all of a sudden, the ball licks the seed out of my hand. Yeah, I'm at the end of it. It's like when you don't finish a cigarette. It's unfinished, and you can't even pick it up from the floor. So I'm and then I start to play. But it has like a resin. Yeah, the citrus kind of sticky.
Wow.
Yeah, and it is similar. For me, in my mind, it was similar to phlegm. Now I have a thing about phlegm. I can't spit phlegm. I can't talk it up and spit it like everyone. Phlegm just makes me wretch for some psychological shit. So now I'm
Yeah.
playing with this thing, and I finish cussing, and it's thinking it's like phlegm. Wow, it's like phlegm. And just my tongue got dry, my head swelled, and I threw up. Mad. I threw up. The one-time thing. No. The next occasion, the next fruit I tried to eat after that was a banana. And the same thing happened. Recurring memory. Came back, got sick, started to play with the banana, and then the feeling came again, dry tongue, I vomited again. And that's fuckery, because I love fruits. I love the taste and everything. It's just
You
some
you can't eat any fruit.
Freudian mind over matter thing. Up until it has a good ending. Up until Eden, I have to feed my boy fruit. I've been feeding him fruit from he could eat hard food. I cut some apple for him. It must be about a year and a half ago. No, yeah, about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. Yeah, and he didn't eat all the apple. And I just said, you know what? Because I had my coffee there. I had coffee there, and I said, it's been years since I've had an apple. I took it, I bit it, and slightly that started to come back. So I took a sip of coffee, and it all went. I said, ooh, hold on. Oh, hold on, Eden's here. Eden, my son, just to say hi quickly.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good,
Okay.
nice. Nice to see you.
You there? Anyway, I had the apple, I had the coffee, I found out I could eat apples. So now I can eat apples without having that thing, but I have not tried anything else for fear of that thing coming back. So my favorite fruit, apple, because it's the only fruit I
Okay. Favorite vegetable?
I like sprouts and broccoli. Those are my favorite vegetables.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So well, now we're gonna get on to your story. You know what you do and used to do because like well we didn't really tell them that we're like family really. When I was in England, a lot of my life I used to live in by Junior's place. Sorry, Jay's place, and yeah, it was had some great times around there. You know, but yeah, we black shorts. That was a time. That was very interesting time for myself, and I hope for you guys as well. And of course, tongue in cheek, tongue in cheek. I mean, like basically a pop star. Do you want to tell us about? Let's start with tongue in cheek.
Um, I always played, from what I can remember, with two pencils on the side of the sofa, drumming with whatever theme music was playing. It was the 70s, everything was funky, would it be an advert or whatever. And sometimes with school plays in the primary school, and they'd, they'd have a drum, I'd play the drums. So it was suggested to my dad one time that I should have lessons because it looks like I've got an aptitude for it. I had probably about 3 months lessons, and then we went to the class, and the guy just didn't turn up. I was his only student, so it probably wasn't worth him doing it. He must work it up. But then I continued just going back to playing the drums, or imagine playing the drums, right up until in the 80s when Delroy, one half of Total Contrast, was selling insurance, and he was selling my mum insurance and saw me drumming on the side and invited me to a jam session that they were having around his house. He introduced me to an electronic Lin drum, and it was like a whole new world. So that was the beginning of my drumming and joining with Total Contrast on stage. At some point, they got dropped by their label. It had nothing to do with me joining. They were dropped by their label, and so they decided to write stuff and have a group to funnel the stuff through. So they asked me to try and find a guy and a girl who can sing to be in this group. And me being me, no one listens to me, so everyone just thought, yeah, Junior talking. So they went and got Robin and Delroy, went and got Maureen and Colin. Maureen did some backing vocals for them already, and Colin had sent in his tape to them. To Toyin. She was a reggae singer who was in the camp as well. So yeah, that was the beginning of TongueNCheek. The songs were written and the routines were learned, and we went straight into touring. It was mad. After probably 3 weeks of learning the tracks and learning the routines, we were gigging, and Don't Stop the Love reached number 57 in the soul charts, and it was like, wow. And so everything just took off from there. We had to go in the studio, write more stuff, and it was just gigging. It was just gigging for 3.5 years, gigging TV. We had 4 top 40s, 1 top 20, the album, the vids. It was an experience. It was great. Double-edged sword as well. You've always got the politics in there, and it was politics that broke up the whole thing eventually. Surprisingly, it had very little to do with money and more to do with people not being able to keep their thing in their pants. But, on the flip side, it's topical because my other cousin had sent me a link to an Instagram page full of TongueNCheek memorabilia, stuff that I thought only the record company had and stuff. So once you go on Instagram, it pings the person that created the thing, and it was a nice fella called Ant. He created this page. He's been a fan from day one. He knows Robin, he knows Delroy, he's spoken to Colin, and I kind of felt left out. So I spoke, we were chatting with him, and then I got in touch with Colin before I chatted with this fella, because you never know who it's be. So I got in touch with Colin. Colin says he doesn't know him. He's never spoken to him and stuff. And I thought the only other person that he's mentioned that I've got a number for is Delroy. And I hadn't spoken to him since the whole thing had broken up. So I rang. Yeah. And I left. It went up to answering machine, thank God. And I left a message explaining that, this guy's created this page and and I'd only talked to him because you never know, all the shit can go online and yada. And he texts back, and then since then we've been talking. And I don't want to say too much, but there are plans in the pipeline. So you may have to get the former pop star at some point if things go according to plan. But I'm not saying anything more than that, because right now it's just talk, and I don't want to be online just talking, talking it up, and it doesn't come to fruition.
Is it the same guy who manages the Facebook page as well?
No. I'm not sure who manages the Facebook page.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not sure. Delroy might manage it. I'm not sure, to be honest. I've got to find out. But I'm not sure. The Facebook page, I don't think was Delroy. I could be wrong.
I mean, but as you say, fun times. I mean, I remember I came up one night. I think it was in the height of it. Can't remember the venue. I think the area was Milton Keynes, possibly. And all I can remember is being at the front of the stage, looking at the crowd. Yeah, so the back, you guys were behind me. I was just looking at the crowd, and they were hysterical for you guys, man. I mean, it was like they're throwing brassy and panties as well at you. It was crazy. It was vibesy.
You know what it was like back then? I mean, it was the tail end of that kind of superstar thing where, the crowd and would go crazy and the girls would, stuff. But today, today that doesn't really wash, does it? It's like, you know,
Today they're all doing this.
yeah, yeah, and taking,
They're too busy doing that.
yeah, or just, yeah. But it's so it's a different climate. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and uh, you had a taste of what it was really like. I mean, it wasn't superstardom or anything. We were just a kind of big underground. And like I said, we had one top 20. So if you tell people, you know, if you say tongue-in-cheek, they'll say who today. So you know, it's kind of we needed to have, you know, consistent hits for people to say, oh yeah, I remember you. But having spoken to Delroy and having a look at the back of the Metro newspaper, it's like a free newspaper we get over here. If you go to the back, it's full 2 pages of acts from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, still touring, still gigging, not with the original lineup because some have left, some have broken off and done their own version, and some have died because it's been so long. But still gigging, and people will still come and pay the ticket for the songs and the nostalgia and the atmosphere. And it's just
It must be a wonderful night out, you know. I bet you get a few people from Milton Keynes coming up to your gigs as well, you know.
Yeah.
The nostalgia, as you
So
said.
there's definitely a crowd out there for some kind of revival. But yeah, it was fun. It was also a creative time as well because not only was I in tongue-in-cheek, but you had started the UK dance demo charts, Sonic News, morphed into Sonic News, the magazine. And there was another creative outlet there. So, you know, tongue-in-cheek was great, but it wasn't as authentic as anything else that I'd done outside it. You know, Sonic News, Black Shorts, Aztec, all of that was raw and organic. And if I had the choice of doing that stuff and still having similar or the same pay as when I was in tongue-in-cheek, take that hands down. Tongue-in-cheek was great, but everything else, you know, was just a bit more authentic. It was just a bit more real, you know, a bit more me. Tongue-in-cheek was, like I said, you know, the poppy stuff, sugar, a couple of corny hip hop tracks and stuff. But people loved the tracks, and because people loved the tracks, you began to love the tracks as well because of the effect it had on people. Um, and even now, if someone wants to hear some tongue-in-cheek stuff, and I put it on, it's nice to reminisce, and I still get that feeling of, well, you know, they were kind of good tracks. They were good, happy-go-lucky, and that was what it was at the time, and the crowd kind of reflected that. Today, this is why I'm hot. I'm hot because you're not. You know, oh boy, can you get it up? Everybody's vexed. Everybody's sex. Everybody's violence, and you know, I think we need some more. Well, it would be nice to have that retro kind of thing. Bruno Mars is still trying to keep it retro with some nice uplifting stuff rather than, you know, the emotional or everything has to be so too real today, you know. I think people forget that music, all the arts, is escapism and entertainment. It's not necessarily always to reflect reality. If it is, it's trying to send a message. But for the most part, it's escapism because we live in reality. So we need some escapism, you know? Goes for all art forms.
Yeah, interesting stuff there. And and also Black Shorts. I mean, like basically, Black Shorts was one of the first companies in the UK to actually um, do internet video. The crew of about what 6 of us, and yeah, we used to go all around London and some stages, we went different parts of the UK to film stuff, and it was a time, really was a time. You had a show on there. It was basically we done like a 3 or 4 hour VHS tape
Wait,
because
internet, wait!
yeah, yeah, you had that show. It was all about the internet, and that was when was that? That was back in what 97, 98,
No, not that long. No, it was 96.
96.
95, 96.
Right. That was the actual tape, but then on the internet, it probably we put it on there about 97 ish.
You sure it was that late? I don't think it was that late. No way.
Go, go on
No.
the internet, I think so, because we have to film it first, and then
Yeah, yeah, we did, yeah. Well,
I remember filming it and then editing it took like
Yeah,
a good while to edit. And talk about editing it. I remember that you edited low heat,
low heat.
and like that really fascinated me the way you edited that show because I thought it was I couldn't edit like that at that time, and it taught me a lot. It was a really great piece of editing there. Is it something you enjoyed?
Mate, that's what I said in the beginning. I I was the youngest in the family. No one paid any attention to me. Feed it, clothe it, plonk it in front of TV. TV was like a surrogate parent. So when you showed me linear editing, it was like, what? And I just got it. And once you let me loose on a piece of equipment, I'm like, I want to just try. I just want to try the things I've seen. So that's all I did. And yeah, I was quite chuffed with it too. But that was the catalyst for me to want to say, yeah, I know what I want to do. Before I wanted to be a sound engineer, and I got into TongueNCheek as a stepping stone to get into sound engineering. It didn't happen. Now I've got a new love. What the hell? Editing and filming. I want to be a wildlife cameraman. I love animals. I want to make wildlife programs, anything to do with filming and editing. So I went and I did my City in Islington course and passed. It was, and I planned to go to uni, but then parenthood got in the way, and it was like, yeah, your dreams take a back seat. You need to get a job, and that was the beginning of the end of that dream. But it's still in me, and I still watch movies. Anything I watch, it's almost a bit disheartening because I can't watch anything without bloody dissecting it now. You know, without being a bit critical on the bit of a sharp edit, or it's a weird place to fade, or to pull the focus and shit like that. Try and get the director's head, and it detracts from the film. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but I'm grateful for it because you introduced me to a new love. All I had at first was music, and now it's film.
Have you watched out of curiosity? I think it's called. Is it The Offer? The movie about the Godfather, the making of the Godfather.
No.
It's not a movie; it's a series. Sorry. My gosh, fantastic, and it goes deep on Puzo, the author. Because like the story about how it really gives you an insight of like his love and passion for directing the movie and the trials that he had to go through to get what he wanted.
I heard
from the mafia.
I'm just about to say I heard there was some mafia involvement, direct mafia involvement with that film, with the films. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Really.
What's it called? The Offer.
Yeah, I believe it's called The Offer. Yeah.
You know what platform it's streaming on?
Netflix, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Black Shorts. How did you enjoy that whole thing? What was your take on the whole Black Shorts experience?
Hold on a sec. Stop. The Google thing picked up when it's. Yeah, Black Shorts was an extension of the introduction to editing. It was like, yeah, and this is, I mean, I've got to stress this is all from you. You had just got your money, bought this equipment, went straight into it. No YouTube, no nothing, just books. And as you were showing me, I was learning. And that was even more so when we were out on site, when we were filming that fashion show and seeing where you set up the cameras to have more of an option as to when it comes to the editing, you can choose. Just little things like that was I'm strange in that it's the little things of that experience that really meant more to me rather than the venue and getting to operate the camera and stuff like that. It was more the intricacies of where you're placing the camera and the lighting and stuff. Yeah.
I remember you done a sketch as well, aside from Internet Wait, which is about the internet, you done a short sketch about a car.
I did the sketch about stealing the car, trying to sell Eddie a car that wasn't mine, and then the owner catching us and me running off. And then there was a sketch with me and Joan where I played the spider. And you kind of filmed it in a kind of film noir kind of thing. It was the video to Little Miss Muffet. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to be putting all the stuff on the screen as well. But those were the days, man. Those were the days, eh?
Yeah, and it was early days and it was creative. And in all honesty, I'm kind of proud to have been part of it because you, total contrast. As the first British soul scene, first internet entrepreneur, first British, and just to be a part of that is a privilege. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it was a great time. It really was. So, what are you looking forward to eating later?
I'm fasting. I'm not eating. Yeah. And on a fast, and to be honest, I fast pretty much every day. I just, for the most part, eat one meal a day. I may have 1 or 2 days a cheat day and eat what the hell I want, 8 bars of chocolate or some shit like that. But no, for the most part, I fast because I don't, for many reasons, and I don't really get into them now. It's not a religious fast. In any way, it's intermittent fasting. So water fast, I drink coffees.
It's meant to be really, really good for you fasting.
It's the absolute lick. The absolute lick. I want my body to be working off of ketones instead of glucose. It's just more efficient. I've had, up until 8 weeks ago, I walked with a stick. I have a degenerate disc, L5. I had that since '96. Since the piano episode.
I remember you had
right. Yeah. And then since 2011, I couldn't make a full stride. And since 2016, I had to walk with a stick because of the mild arthritis that I got because of compensating for it all these years. Well, I just had the Chinese doctor in a private hospital give me a course of 3 injections over the course of about a year and a half. The last injection, the second from last injection I had lasted about a month. And when it wore off, the pain wasn't there as much. It was like, whoa, I thought it was a freak, but we decided to do the same thing again. Did it again. I've just got a dull ache. You wouldn't know that I have any kind of back pain. I don't have a stick anymore. And so what I've been doing, I've been intermittent fasting since 2018, but right now I'm going gamma. I'm fasting. I'm drinking all sorts of nettle tea with cat's claw and whatever else, black seed oil.
I'm serious.
between A, B to D. I've got my 7 C's. I'm even making turmeric bullets. Where you take a piece of resin, fill it with turmeric, and then make a little bullet. And I take that 5 days a week. On the weekend, I cheat. But for the most part, that's what I do. And what I eat is mainly, it's really simple, really simple. Sardines, veg, that's it. Or grilled chicken, veg. At the least amount of carbs. That's my intermittent fasting. But
I heard you mention chocolate. Are you a big fan of chocolate?
Chocolate is a fan of me. Look at me, man. I'm chocolate. It's chocolate. We're just.
Listen, I don't know whether you tried when you came over here in 2000, but like I only discovered it like a few years ago. Is the Trinitario cocoa bean?
Never tried.
Oh my days! It mashes up anything I've tasted in England. Kills it. It is amazing. Got to try it one day. Or, I don't know whether you can find it in England, but the key is.
I'll have a look online. Yeah, I'll try a thing online because I love chocolate and yeah, I'll try. I've always tried all sorts of chocolate. Chocolate I don't like. I don't favour dark chocolate, and because it's too much like Brokelax.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is even this, because I don't really like dark chocolate. Even this dark chocolate, it's a different experience.
Okay, different. I want to try.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the cocoa tea. But Jay, I just want to thank you for your time today. You know, it's been so good to see you. You know, like we didn't really get into the Trekkie stuff, which is good. I'm gonna sign off with the official Vulcan signage there. We're on different spectrums of the Trek. It happens. But yeah, thank you so much.
An incoming call. Say again.
Okay, all right. I just want to say thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Blessings. You take care.